It's week 5 of the Overwatch League, and the Defiant just played the Florida Mayhem at the Washington homestand. This is KarQ's Reviews, so let's review a key moment from this match. We're in Washington, D.C. at the Anthem for the homestand, and although Defiant fell short 1-3 against the Florida Mayhem, let's take a look at map 3 on Blizzard World and see what happened during our attack phase. To begin, we managed to take the first point quite convincingly, and with a little over 4 minutes on the clock, we were thinking, hey, let's keep our momentum going and snowball our way through the second phase. The first team fight breaks out, however the Defiant hold their ground and convincingly win the fight, and the payload slowly makes its way close to the checkpoint. Now here's where things got interesting in this next play that I want to review. Our composition consists of the Winston D.Va dive tanks, Pharah and Hanzo for the long-range poke, with Mercy pocketing the Pharah primarily and Ana keeping up the tanks from the backline. Florida realized now that Agility's Pharah has been causing problems, and while Hanzo is a great DPS hero in his own right, projectile shots against the Pharah with good vertical spacing can be a little unreliable, even at the hands of a professional player. That's when BQB makes a switch to the next best burst hit scan hero, Ashe, because remember, the DPS hero bans for this week are McCree and Widowmaker. As Surefour and Agility's poke the spawn door, Gargoyle on the D.Va is out first and stalling the payload to prevent it from reaching the checkpoint. As the rest of Florida march out of spawn from the previous team fight, Surefour and Nevix execute a beautiful play here, a Dragonstrike into D.Va bomb, which ends up killing Gangnam Jin, but there's a lot more to it than that, so let's rewind a bit and talk about this combo. Dragonstrike does two things, damage and zoning. Since Florida needs somebody on the payload to prevent Toronto from capping, Gargoyle stays on it, tanking through the damage of Surefour's Dragonstrike. This draws resources from Florida's supports as Gangnam Jin uses Nano Boost and Chris uses Immortality Field. As a byproduct, half of the Florida team is actually zoned off to and locked to the right side of the Dragonstrike. Nevix knows and understands this and throws his bomb towards that side because he knows they'll be retreating there. It manages to catch Gangnam Jin and would have actually caught Yaki in theory, but Mei has Ice Block and she lives as a result. Chris actually manages to get out of the way in time, Fate is playing near the payload, and BQB came out of the spawn towards the left side of Toronto, and that's important, keep that in mind. As a result of this play, Toronto's up 6 versus 5, forced a couple of important cooldowns from Florida, and great, things are looking good at first. However, as Gargoyle is losing his mech from that fight, he launches a counter bomb and actually manages to eliminate both Agilities and Beast. What happened? Well, we saw what Toronto did during that play, but let's watch Fate. First, he came out of spawn, and knowing Gargoyle is stalling, he doesn't get over anxious, he doesn't even shoot. I don't know what their comms were, but I guarantee they were coordinating the counter bomb right from the get-go, because as soon as Gargoyle launched his, Fate immediately shot out his halt, and Beast, thinking he's safe, gets yoinked back in at the last possible second. I mean, come on, really? That's actually really unfortunate for us that pull's still connected. Anyways, let's move to BQB. Remember how I mentioned that it's important that he came out on the left side of Toronto? Well, he came out on Ashe to help with the Pharah, and he managed to get a headshot, which chunked down Agilities, forcing his concussive blast. When Gargoyle's bomb eventually came down, Agilities didn't have concussive blast available, so he opted to go under and inside the room to safety. But now let's move on to Yaki. After he ice blocked, he managed to wall him off. Sometimes it's not a matter of us misplaying, but a matter of giving credit to the opponents for the heads-up play here with the Mei wall, because if even Florida managed to get a solo kill on Beast or Agilities, Kelix would have been able to res them and Toronto would still keep the 6 versus 5 advantage. Instead, Florida manages to get 2, and while Beast does get rezzed, it's an even matchup at 5v5, and the respawn advantage actually goes to Florida, since Gangnam Jin has a much faster walk back to the fight. The rest of the round doesn't end well for us, but great execution from both teams really, in a nail-biting fight that could have went both ways. GG's and well played, Florida. We'll bounce back next week, Defiant fans. Thanks for checking out this series. During weeks off, I'll actually be reviewing your clips from your Overwatch games, so follow the Toronto Defiant on Twitter to find out how to submit your gameplay. Be sure to subscribe to the Defiant channel here, and check out the other episodes of the series here.